In the beginning, Earth knew no footsteps. There were no cities, no tribes, no stories carved into stone. The world was wild, ancient and untamed, shaped by fire, storms, oceans and drifting continents. Time was measured not in years, but in the rising and falling of mountains. Yet, hidden within this chaos was a spark, a chain of events billions of years long, that would eventually lead to the first humans. This is the full story of first man, not as one single individual, but as an entire, unfolding journey. A story told through the fusion of science and myth, woven with discoveries from fossilized bones, DNA, ancient ruins, and the oldest legends humans have ever shared. To understand the first man, we must travel backward, far more than a lifetime, far more than the age of civilizations, into a world where Earth itself was still becoming what it would one day be. Humanity's story does not begin on Earth. It begins in the silent darkness of space. Billions of years before humans existed, stars lived and died in violent explosions called supernovae, scattering heavy elements like carbon, iron, calcium and oxygen into the universe. NASA, 2018. These are the essential building blocks of life. Eventually, one of those cosmic clouds collapsed under gravity, forming the Sun, and around it, a young, molten Earth. In its earliest days, Earth was a sphere of fire and rock. Meteorites rained down like cosmic bullets. Oceans boiled, volcanoes reshaped the land. But nature was patient. Over millions of years, the surface cooled, water condensed into oceans, and chemistry gave birth to biology. Life began in the oceans, microscopic and fragile, but incredibly persistent. Over billions of years, tiny cells joined together to form more complex organisms: plants, fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals. Life adapted, transformed, and branched into countless species. Eventually, one branch led to us. The story of humanity begins in Africa, where scientists have uncovered some of the oldest clues to our origins. Sahelanthropus chadensis, the oldest face of humanity. Discovered in Chad in 2001, this 7-million-year-old skull belongs to one of the earliest known hominins. Nicknamed Tumai, it had a small brain like an ape, but may have walked upright like a human. In African mythology, some tribes speak of the first walker, a spirit-form being who rose from the earth when the world was new. These stories, though symbolic, echo what science suggests, that the first ancestors began to stand on two legs. Orrorin tuganensis, the Millennium Man. Found in Kenya's Tugan Hills, 6 million years old, this hominin climbed trees but also walked on the ground. Ardipithecus ramidus, Ardi, the ground dweller. At 4.4 million years old, Ardi walked upright but still had grasping feet for climbing. She represents a species living in forests while transitioning toward open grasslands. These were not humans, but they were the beginning of the path that would lead to humanity. In 1974, in the Ethiopian desert, scientists made one of the most iconic discoveries in the history of human origins, the skeletal remains of a female who lived 3.2 million years ago. She was named Lucy, after the Beatles' song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Lucy walked fully upright. She had long arms, a small brain, and the ability to survive in a dangerous world full of predators. Her species lived in groups, cared for young, and adapted remarkably to shifting climates. Some East African oral histories speak of the small people who came before us, early upright beings who lived close to nature and understood the land intimately. Though mythological, these stories align with the scientific picture of Australopithecus. Lucy represents the earliest major step toward human-like walking, a milestone that set the stage for everything that followed. Around 2.4 million years ago, a new species appeared, one that would change the world forever. Homo habilis, discovered in Tanzania's Olduvai Gorge, Leakey et al., 1964, created the first stone tools, sharp flakes used for cutting meat, bones and hides. These tools allowed early humans to eat more nutrient-rich foods, giving them energy for bigger brains. Across various cultures, myths speak of gods or divine beings, teaching early humans how to use tools or weapons. In Sumerian tablets, the Anunnaki are said to have given humans knowledge of building and cutting. Whether symbolic or literal, these myths reflect a real milestone: humanity becoming technological. Tools expanded possibilities. Possibilities expanded intelligence. Intelligence reshaped destiny. Homo erectus emerged around 1.9 million years ago and became one of the most widespread and successful human species. They made better tools, were taller and stronger, and, most importantly, mastered fire. At Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa, scientists found evidence of controlled fire dating back 1 million years. Fire transformed humanity. It allowed cooking, making food more nutritious. It kept predators away. It provided warmth in cold climates. It brought people together in the night, enabling communication and bonding. It extended the day, giving time for planning, creation, and storytelling. With fire came confidence. With confidence came exploration. The first great human migration. Homo erectus became the first human species to leave Africa, spreading into Asia, the Middle East, China, and Indonesia. They adapted to deserts, mountains, and forests, proving that humans were not bound to one land. Ancient myths from diverse cultures speak of the wanderers, the people who spread across the earth, or the first travellers following the stars. These tales may preserve faint echoes of these ancient migrations. This powerful species, emerging around 700,000 years ago, hunted big game with sophisticated wooden spears. They built shelters and lived in structured groups. They also likely gave rise to Neanderthals in Europe and Asia, and modern humans in Africa. Across global mythologies, stories of giants are common, from the Greek titans to African ancestral giants. Scientists believe these myths may preserve cultural memories of encounters between different hominin species, especially robust species like Homo heidelbergensis and Neanderthals. The earliest known Homo sapiens fossils, found in Ethiopia's Omo Kibish, date to around 300,000 years ago. These early humans had sophisticated brains, advanced language abilities, curiosity, creativity, problem-solving skills. They painted, decorated their bodies, wore jewellery, and crafted symbolic objects. At sites like Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found engraved ochre and shell beads dating back 70,000 or 100,000 years. These artworks show the emergence of identity, ritual, spirituality, storytelling, culture. Myths began as humans tried to explain nature, life, death, and the stars. Over tens of thousands of years, humans began leaving Africa in waves, eventually reaching the Middle East, Asia, Europe, and beyond. In Europe and Western Asia, Homo sapiens encountered Neanderthals, a close cousin species that had lived there for hundreds of thousands of years. Far from being brutish, Neanderthals were intelligent, strong, and deeply skilled. They used fire, built structures, buried their dead, and crafted stone tools. DNA evidence shows that humans and Neanderthals interbred. Green et al., 2010. Today, most non-African people carry Neanderthal DNA. This means the story of the first man is not a single lineage. It is a tapestry woven from multiple human species. Many cultures tell stories of the people before us, or ancient tribes with great strength who disappeared. Such myths may be distant memories of hominin interactions. Humans faced a planet locked in ice. Giant mammals roamed, woolly mammoths, cave lions, saber-toothed cats, the rise of art and mind. During this era, humans created spectacular cave paintings in places like Lascaux Cave, France, Chauvet Cave, France, El Castillo Cave, Spain. These artworks, some over 40,000 years old, show humans not just surviving, but thinking symbolically, telling stories, marking identity, passing knowledge. Shamanic traditions from Siberia, Africa, and the Americas describe early humans communicating with the spirits of animals. These spiritual ideas parallel what the cave paintings portray: a deep relationship with nature. Mastering the environment. Humans adapted by crafting. Bone needles, tailored clothing, advanced spears, bows and arrows, fishing tools, shelters. Human intelligence accelerated rapidly and cultures began to flourish. As the Ice Age melted, Earth became warmer, coastlines shifted and new environments appeared. Göbekli Tepe, the first temple, 9600 BC. In modern-day Turkey, humans built a monumental stone structure before farming existed. Massive T-shaped pillars, each weighing many tons, were arranged in circles. The world's oldest known temple, Dietrich et al., 2013. This site proves something remarkable. Spirituality and myth came before agriculture, not after. The agricultural revolution. In the Fertile Crescent, humans began to farm wheat and barley, domesticate goats and sheep, settle in permanent villages, store food, craft pottery, create trade networks. Human life shifted from wandering to settling. From settling came community. From community came civilization. The first great civilizations, 4000, 2000 BC, Sumer in Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Sumerians created the first writing system, cuneiform, mathematics, astronomy, organized cities, complex mythologies such as the Enuma Elish and the story of Adapa, often interpreted as early creation stories. In these texts, humans are shaped from clay by gods such as Enki and Nin-Hursag, symbolic of humans being formed from Earth's elements. Egyptian civilization emerged with its own creation myths involving Atum, Ra, and the waters of Nun. Their pyramids, mummies, and temples show a profound belief in the afterlife. In Nubia, Ethiopia, and West Africa, ancient cultures preserved oral histories of the first people, beings shaped by gods, spirits, or cosmic forces. These myths were not literal explanations, but symbolic attempts to describe deep past events, migrations, early humans, and the origin of society. First man revealed. Who was the first man? Science tells us humanity is not the story of a single individual, but a vast network of ancestors over millions of years. Yet myth tells us humanity began with a symbolic first being, moulded from clay, breathed into life, shaped by gods, or emerging from the earth. The truth lies in the fusion of both. First man is the earliest upright walkers, the first tool makers, the bearers of fire, the migrants following the stars, the artists painting on cave walls, the farmers settling in fertile lands, the storytellers forming myths, the thinkers building temples, the dreamers forming civilizations. Humanity arose not once, but through a long chain of transformations, adaptations, and creations. Myth explains why we exist. Science explains how we exist. Together they tell the complete story. Clay creation myths symbolize humans emerging from Earth's elements. Sky god myths symbolize the sudden leap in intelligence of Homo sapiens. Giant legends symbolize encounters with Neanderthals. Flood myths symbolize the melting of the Ice Age. Wanderer legends symbolize Homo erectus migrations. Humanity carries both truth and symbolism. We are a species that evolved, but also a species that creates meaning. From stardust to stone tools, from fire to farming, from hunters to storytellers, from myth to civilization. The journey of humanity is an unbroken chain, stretching across millions of years. The first man is not one person. It is all of us. A legacy of ancestors who survived, adapted, imagined, created, loved, feared, prayed, questioned and dreamed. We are the children of evolution. We are the inheritors of myth. We are the storytellers of Earth. This is our story, the story of first man.